audience. Hello everyone, my name is Katie Mott and my topic is banned books. Behind me are just a few of the many books that are on the banned books list. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Catcher in the Rye, The Scarlet Letter, To Kill a Mockingbird, and Brave New World. Although you may not have actually read these in school, they are classics that almost everyone has heard of. These are only a few of the classics that are now being banned. Now, not all these books are banned everywhere, but the amount of school districts banning these books is getting bigger and bigger. Today, I will be informing you about some of the banned books in certain school districts. I will be explaining which books are banned, what they are about, why they are banned, and why there is a banned book list in place. I care about this topic because I enjoy reading a lot, and there are a lot of books that are on this list that I've already read in school, and now they are being banned. I think it's interesting to learn about these books and why there are people deciding whether or not they believe that students should be reading them. There are tons of books that are on the banned books list, and not all of them are banned for the same reason. I will be explaining what some of these books are and the reasons that they are no longer allowed to be read by students in school. Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Catcher in the Rye is about the life of a 16-year-old boy, Holden Caulfield, as he spends his time in a mental facility. This book is filled with sexual content, explicit language, and mature topics. Catcher in the Rye has also been known to be banned because people were stating that this book was a reason for them to be shooting up places. BannedBooksWeek.org stated, young Holden, favorite child of the censor, frequently removed from classrooms and school libraries because it's unacceptable, obscene, blasphemous, negative, foul, filthy, and undermines morality. And to think Holden always thought people never notice anything. Another quote taken from Time.com states, in 1960, school administrators at a high school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, fired an English teacher for assigning the book to an 11th grade class. While the teacher later soon won his appeal, the books remained off the required reading list. Another community in Columbus, Ohio, deemed the book anti-white and formed a delegation to have it banned from local schools. One library banned it for violating codes on excess vulgar languages, sexual scenes, things concerning moral issue, and excessive violence. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. This book is basically the sequel to another book that Mark Twain previously wrote called The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. At the end of that book, Tom and Huck find a good sum of money, and that leads into the novel. Time.com says, in 1885, the Concord Public Library in Massachusetts banned the year-old book for its coarse language. Critics deemed Twain's use of common slang demeaning and damaging. A review dubbed it the Verret trash, more suited to the slums than intelligent, respectable people. Another quote taken from BannedBooksWeek.org says, Twain's book is one of the most challenged of all time, and is frequently challenged, even today, because of its frequent use of the N-word. Otherwise, it is alleged the book is racially insensitive, oppressive, and perpetrates racism. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This book is about a dystopian future where everyone has injections to make everyone happy. I read this book in high school, and there was a lot of controversy about it. There's also a lot of sex in this book, which portrays it in a negative way. Time.com states, Aldous Huxley's 1932 work about a drugged, dull, and mass-produced society of the future has been challenged for its themes of sexuality, drugs, and suicide. Another quote from bannedbooks.world.edu says, Aldous Huxley's dystopian novel, set in London in the year 2540, 632 AF in the book, has also become one of the most frequently censored books in literary history. It was number 52 of the 100 most banned books of 1990 to 2001, and one of the 10 most frequently challenged books of 2010, according to the ALA's Office of Intellectual Freedom. There are many reasons why a book will be put on the banned book list. Here are some of those reasons. There's a difference between banned books and challenged books. Not all books automatically get banned. They have to be challenged first. Banned books versus challenged books. This quote is taken from ALA.org. There is a difference between having a book banned and having a book challenged. A challenge is an attempt to remove or restrict materials based upon the objections of a person or group. A banning is the removal of those materials. Challenges do not simply involve a person expressing a point of view. Rather, they are an attempt to remove the material from the curriculum or library, thereby restricting the access of others. A lot of books are banned because they are racially offensive. Books like The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and Uncle Tom's Cabin and The Little House in the Big Woods were all banned because school districts did not want children to be reading about racially offensive things. Books can also be banned for their use of profanity or graphic language. Of Mice and Men, Catcher in the Rye, and A Separate Piece were all placed on the list for that reason. My final point is why there is a banned book list in place and what some people are doing to remove the list. Lots of school systems are banning more and more books for various reasons, because they believe their students should not be reading novels with these ideas. But not all teachers are following these rules, and there are several cases of them losing their jobs because of teaching said books. Like the case I mentioned earlier in 1960, a teacher from Oklahoma lost his job for having his students read Catcher in the Rye. Many people do not agree that any of these books should be banned, so they started a movement. Banned Books Week is an event that encourages people to speak up for their right to read whatever you want to read. They celebrate the books that have been banned and explain reasons why they believe students should have the opportunity to read them. I hope you feel as though you have been properly informed on banned books now. Banned books are not a topic people generally think of as a big deal, but there are plenty of people fighting to get these books back into school districts because that's what they firmly believe is right. The school districts are fighting just as hard to keep those books off their employees' rosters because they believe it's not right to expose the students to writing of that nature. I think that discussing banned books is very important, and this issue will not be resolved anytime soon. Thank you so much for listening.